Well, it's a pretty miserable winter day, but it is dry and supposedly dry all day. It's about 9 degrees, but it's pretty. It's overcast, although the weather says it's going to be clearing up. I don't know if I believe it. Ground's all wet, so it's not ideal, but I've been meaning to have a flight to try out a few different videoing options for quite a while. So we'll go down to a field and see if we can take off and have a bit of a flight and try a few things out. So a couple of things I've got to try out is that I've got a new DJI Osmo, and I think that's going to let me. I've got a mount so I can mount it at the end of a pole. So what it should do is give me really smooth video shots out on the pole rather than all over the place, which is what I get just now. And the other thing that I think is going to be interesting, just to give it a go really, is helmet mounting it. So I've got a helmet mount sort of adapter that I've made up that lets me helmet mount it and give it a go. Now why I say that is because it's all combined, you know, so it's quite awkward compared to my normal helmet mount where the batteries are internal to my helmet. So I don't think it's something I'll usually fly with. Plus, the Osmo's got a very much reduced field of view compared to the GoPro, which isn't ideal for when you're flying. You want a big field of view. The Osmo's about 90 degrees. I don't know what that'll look like, so it'll be interesting to find out now. So that's the Osmo. Then the other gadget I've got with me is an Insta360 Nano, which is a 360 degree camera. So if you're not familiar with these, there'll be some pictures below, but basically it's basically two cameras in one, so there's like two lenses back to back, and internally to the camera it makes one picture covering the whole world. It's the easiest way to describe it. So it doesn't have a field of view. The field of view is everything. So it records everything all around about it, everything above it, below it, on all 360 degrees around. And it does that and it's stitching it all in the camera, so it's quite powerful. Now, the problem with 360 degree cameras, if you're going to use them to, and usually if you're videoing 360, it's because you want to play it back in a virtual reality experience. So either something like a Gear VR or a Vive or an Oculus. And if you're going to do that, it's imperative that that's smooth. Okay, so the horizon can't move and go up and down and all that kind of stuff. It just doesn't work. So you've got a couple of options for that really. We've actually only got one option just now, which is that you take your video in the helmet, just moving all over the place, and then you spend a couple of $1,000 on software to try and sort them all out. It's a bit like stabilisation for action cameras was before gimbals came out about 3 or 4 years ago. It's not ideal, especially when you're flying, because the way the stabilisation works and 360 degrees works, you can't actually stabilise it unless you've got a point to stabilise on. And the problem with that is that you know, you're moving, you're always turning left, turning right, whatever in a paramotor. There is no point you can say that's the point you're going for. The stabilisation software, it really only works when you're going in an absolutely straight line. And then you can say, okay, that point there, that shouldn't move, and then it works. So so that's the way it is just now. So what I've done is I've made a little rig so that I can mount the 360 camera on one of my gimbals. It's a 3-axis stabilised motorised gimbal. So what that should do, and I've tried it already in the car around, is that it should stabilise things. And it should give you a little bit of a virtual reality experience. Now it's not the first time this has been done. As far as 360 degrees and paramotors, there's quite a few videos out there with 360 degree paramotor and paragliding footage. but they've all been using this digital image stabilisation. To my knowledge, there's not been any that have actually used a proper hardware gimbal. So that'll be interesting to try that anyway. So we'll see. But we might get down there, we might find the weather's not great. It still might be a bit raining. If that's the case, it's not going to happen. The wind's it's very little wind today, which is good. But you want a little bit of wind. You want a little bit of wind so that you know which way to run. And if there's so little wind, it tends to move about a lot of the wind. So you set yourself up, and then you find that you have to change it all again. You move your wing around because the wing's slightly changed again and again and again. It really gets quite frustrating. So I'd much rather have for 5 miles an hour wind than 0 miles an hour wind. So we shall see. So first thing we have to do is get the old Paramotor out of the back of the van. Because we'll need it. So watch nothing gets caught. Now, gonna need some fuel. Yep. Not gonna have a long flight today, but we've only got about 2 litres in there. I don't like to run on dregs. 4-stroke. Just regular old petrol in here, no need for anything else. These are good things if you've not got them. So, sure it doesn't come out, and then oh, exactly like that. In fact, especially when things are cold like that, it's a very stiff. Not a lot left in this. I'm not going to put too much in here, up to about 5 litres. I think that should be fine. The whole time I'm just keeping an eye on that windsock, see if it's moving about a lot. That'll tell me whether it's, there we go, whether I'm likely to have to be moving my wing about all over the place. It's moving about at the moment about 45 degrees, which isn't great. But it's what you expect. Usually when the wind's not very strong, it tends to not keep a direction as well. So it's not unusual for it to move about a bit. This says it's on, but it's actually off. I've not got to flip the switch around yet. I changed the switch and didn't know which way on and off was. Found out in the last flight, but haven't actually changed it around yet. Right. Prop. Now, keep the spanner in here. If there's any reason I need to actually take it off, or if I'm land out somewhere I can do it. Not putting the prop on yet. Cage first, then prop. Sure. Get the cage on now. Since I last flew, but when I last flew, lines get caught in the prop, ripped this whole bit of cage straight out, this bit to here, poof, straight out. Never happened to me before. Anyway, fixed it. We've took all this off, put 2 bits of copper plumbing tube in, and then riveted it in place, taped over it. It's as solid as it ever was now. So, cage together. Oh, of course, the other thing is, I'm not sure if I've actually put this together since I've done this. So we might find a little bit of fun and games getting that. Should be that far out there. There we go. why that's so far out. It's not possible to be that far out. Sort of in the right place. This is why I prefer cages that that pop together easily, because it's just faff you don't need. Faff you can do without when you're on the trying to get sorted. That's happening again and again. It's a pain in the ass. As Avi would say, focus your fuck, put together your fuck. If you don't know what Avi is, have a look. Look on these two, eBay, YouTube. It's getting there, but it's a little bit tight. There we go. Okay. So before we strap it all in, we're just looking and checking everything's okay. This bit here is a bit iffy. Maybe pull it in a bit. The strap. I get why it's so far out, to be honest with you. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. So if you've never checked out Avi, A-V-E, on YouTube, he's really just kind of switched on, quite funny. Canadian guy. He does mechanical engineering stuff. Quite interesting to watch. It was him that sort of gave me the idea that maybe people would be interested in seeing things in a bit more detail. How you put a paramotor together, how you fly it and all that. How you crash it, let's hope not. Okay, so this is a throttle cable that just needs to be kept a little bit higher there. Now, so because it's the first time I put this cage together since I fitted it, I'll just go back to here and just double check this bit here. Okay. Okay. So prop. Now, always make sure you put your prop on the right way round.
Two ends to go together, both print on each side. Okay, that goes on the outside. I know that seems pretty obvious, but on some props it isn't as obvious. On the spare prop for this, it isn't obvious, or that obvious. And I admit, I'm not sure, maybe it wasn't in this one, I think it was another Paramotor. Actually, I had to put the prop on backwards, which was pretty done. Yeah, things happen. Right, okay, and prop on. Oil level's good, halfway through it. Fuel tanks together, up. So we're all done there. Next thing I like to do is just get the engine started, run it up a bit. Now, fills the carbs and just make sure that I've not got any horrible problems like that I wouldn't be able to start the thing at all or something. So the Bailey, it's a cold day, what we'll do is we'll switch it on, which is the off, and we need to prime the carb, which is squishing this thing here, and as you squish it you'll start to see fuel coming up. Just keep squishing it slowly, let the bubbles rise and come out of the car first, and give it another squish. See there's still some bubbles there, just let them come up, and then it'll start to get hard, and then just make sure it's really hard. There, that's that. The next thing is put it on the back and start up. So I'm just going to move this back a little bit. Leave most of the straps and everything connected still. I don't want these moving into the prop, so I'm just going to move them behind here, but still keep them connected together. Okay, so we know we're on. We should be on anyway, unless I've already changed the switch position to the other way around, in which case we'll be off. Oh, and now I've realised I've not done something, which is put this guy on. So it's a little split pin arrangement. Keep on waiting for the time where I'll lose this. One meaning to have a spare. I mean, you could get by with a tie wrap or something. Okay. So ready to start. Make sure my feet don't get caught in the accelerator bar. Right. So first thing, about 6 or 7 primes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we just get this to the top dead centre. Start with the compression, and I'm just throttling it. I'm just sort of yeah, I was just feathering the throttle a little bit there, so it wasn't just catching, but at least we know the switch is the right way around. Okay, I'm just going to give that a bit more of a pump. Okay, 1, 2. shoes are really slippy, so I'm not doing a full throttle test without holding on to something. The other thing with the 4-stroke is you need to let it tick over for quite a long time, or you tend to get pops, bangs after you switch it off, which aren't good for the exhaust. So I'm just letting it tick over a bit. I've still got my hand on the throttle a little bit because it's still not really warm, it's just warming. The last thing I'll do is I'll take off where I want it to take off from. So I'll just wander over to the right place. So I don't want to be in this shit really, it's a bit kind of rough bit here. I'm just going to walk forward a bit till I've got a reasonably straight run out. I also want to not be too close to this flag. Thinking about there's good. I think we're going to be pointing towards that tree over there. Sort of first tree, or if you go to the left, the first tree you come to, the biggest tree straight ahead of me. So we'll stop the throttle now, hopefully not get any bangs, and that is us. So we've now got our engine sorted out here. I'm going to just check this manually. Lots of clearance now across the cage, that's good. So ready to get the wing out now. Lines here. The wing I'm flying with here is a DJI Reaction 29, which I've had for 8 years. And it's a lovely wing, I've never really wanted anything else. I take good care of it, don't do very much hours anyway, I only do about 10-15 hours a year, something like that. And I get it checked occasionally, I don't get it checked every year, but often enough to know it's in good nick. Check them a little bit there before I put them on, and then when I put them on I'll give them another check. So now I just need to get these on right. Speed bar wires towards the front. Speed line on. Yeah, just pull this tight. Check the lines. It's a bit messy in the middle there, and we'll check that out once we pull the wing out. But otherwise it's all looking good. Again, speed bar lines to the front. Okay, so now we pull the wing out, get a nice horseshoe shape and aim it. So we're looking for the dot, which is the centre of the wing, and we're looking to aim for that tree. We want to move across a bit. See now we're pretty much aiming at that tree, yeah? So, see, not a lot of wind today, and that means it's even more important to get your wing into a good horseshoe shape, because you're going to need to be running like buggery to get a good takeoff. Once the wing's up, of course, you're fine, but when it's like this, so it's a rough idea. And then I just go around again. So, a little bit to the left there. I'm going to just move it a little bit. So, right, just pulling it underneath there a bit, and pulling it into the right as well, so we get the wing completely up the edges. Again here. Okay, and then the last thing we do is we back the motor back. We do that because we're going to need to stand up in it. We don't want all these nicely arranged lines to be going all over the place. And then just grab all your lines and just pull them away from the prop so that they're all lying like that, so that you don't get any, when you step up, you don't get any caught in your prop, because it's really difficult to tell if you have got a line caught in your prop once you've got it on your back. So we're all set now, all done. Next step, flying.
You see there is still a little bit of wind, that's what the little streamer at the bottom is for. The issue is usually, or often when the wind disappears like that, it's because it's changing direction, and you get a little bit of a lull and then it will come back up, but it will be coming back up in a different direction. So I'm just keeping watch of it a little bit before I strap myself in here, just to make sure that's not the case here. It doesn't seem to be the case, I think we're alright. Okay, so we're alright, wings alright, everything's all sorted. Next is strap myself in. So, limit to how much I can show you here without somebody else videoing, but I'll be able to see. Leg straps in first. Make sure they don't not get caught on anything. You don't want them to be getting caught on the you want to be going straight up there, not getting caught in any of your lines. And you've got your this one there. It's two things this does really, stop you falling out, but the other thing is just keeps these the right distance apart. And finally this little strap at the top, and its job is just to keep these in a bit so that it keeps on, it doesn't fall off your shoulders. That's really on takeoff, and that's really all it's for. So there we go. Just put this on here. This is slightly awkward, it can get in the way of things, but I just have to hope it doesn't. Whilst I'm just checking these aren't caught anywhere. Okay, I'm just holding this out of the way, and I'm going to step up. Again, I know I can step up now without getting in the way of the lines, because I moved the lines out of the way. I'm checking anyway. And the lines out of the way of everything. Okay. So the next thing I do is I just start the engine, so that I get a little bit of it running in my back. I've got a little bit of elastic here. That helps me just get hold of the handle. And then
here's some of the footage from the Osmo, which is mounted on my helmet. So it's as I expected. I mean, obviously it's broadcast quite. You see, there's not really, the yaw's quite quick. So as I even got a bit side to side, the way you can adjust the yaw rate from the Osmo, you can't do it with the which means it's quite quick to right with your helmet. So it doesn't really work very well, which is kind of what I expected. It's just too quick. So then, it's worth doing though, just to try and find out the experiment. So next is on the pole, so it's still the Osmo. It's on the end of the pole. I've usually got the session, GoPro session mounted on. This was a bit better, I would say. But then the session I usually just use for stills and a little bit of video anyway. And it is quite awkward because you've got this whole Osmo mounted on the end of your kind of 6-7 foot long stick, which means it's quite a lot of weight on your arm. So you can see it is smoothing it out. It is quite smooth. You can see the sort of smoothness by the vibration at the end of the stick. It's doing a good job. But it's difficult to. Plus, the DJI's got such a narrow field of view compared to GoPro, it's only about 90 degrees. You're not really getting much in other than just me. So I don't know if I would use that much, to be honest. But it was an interesting experiment to do anyway.
And we land on my feet. Not as nice as I thought it was up there. Looked like it was going to clear up with blue skies, but it just clouded over again, and the clouds come down, and the clouds way down at 600 feet, and it's just not very nice. Not very nice. Plus, of course, Muggins here. We went up explicitly to test two things: an Osmo and an Instant 3D with a gimbal. Forgot the gimbal for the Insta360. So what you'll be able to see is just some 360 footage with no gimbal, because some muppet forgot. There you go. So that wasn't a particularly successful flight. Then again, I am alive. That's always a good thing. No damage to anything. Landing on my feet, these are all good things. See that box there? That box full of gimbals. That is supposed to be what I was taking up with me to try the Insta360, but it wasn't much, doing a whole lot of good in the back of my motorhome. Hey ho! I'd like to say that that's the first time I've ever forgotten something, but that would be shite. But there you are. So, bit of a different video today. I've tried to show you putting the paramotor going up, and the preparation, the flight a bit, and then some other stuff. So I don't know, if you like it, subscribe. If you don't like it, hit that thumbs down twice. And yeah, tell your friends. Let's see if we can get a channel building up.